Black people are God's chosen people. That's why they're naturally spiritual. That's why they're overlooked. That's why they're copied across the whole planet Earth. Why are black people the most hated people? Why are black people the most copied and stolen from? People who don't know their identity. It's because they are God's chosen people. Why are black people the most hated people? Why are black people the most copied and stolen from people who don't know their identity? It's because they are God's chosen people.
We never intended them to be anything other than a slave. But they began to grow in number and in power, and eventually they fought their way to some freedom. So we became even more cruel, and to keep our black Americans down, we lynched. But yet they rose. So then we used the welfare system, the criminal justice system, to keep them down, to contain them, to destroy them. But yet they rose, and they're rising. Then we built prisons and jails to hold them. Yet they rose.
The superiority agenda and the segregation agenda that has been pushed for too long, this has been narratives that have been pushed so long in the US, is now being seriously debunked, as some white folks, some Asians are coming out to acknowledge and to affirm that the black folks are chosen ones, they are special ones by God, and the more the agenda to bring them down has been, it has failed, and they are beginning to realize that it's like they can't make it without having the black people within their community. And so we have a couple of videos that we're going to watch, then at the end of the day we'll come to give our conclusion. If you're coming to my YouTube channel, you're welcome. If you're a new subscriber, please hit the subscription button to follow and to encourage your brother. All credits to original content creators. So let us jump right into the video rather, and at the end of the day we'll come to give you our personal opinions and analysis.
We never intended them to be anything other than a slave. But they began to grow in number and in power, and eventually they fought their way to some freedom. So we became even more cruel, and to keep our black Americans down, we lynched. But yet they rose. So then we used the welfare system, the criminal justice system, to keep them down, to contain them, to destroy them. But yet they rose, and they're rising. Then we built prisons and jails to hold them. Yet they rose. And so now we are doing exactly what the Pharaoh did at the end, sending out a decree: kill them. So until we admit that when we wrote this Constitution that all men are created equal, that we never intended to include our black brothers and sisters, our nation may end up facing exactly what the Egyptians faced when they refused to let God's people go. So I'm going to say this to my white fellow Americans, that the bloodshed that is on its way is not on the hands of our fellow black Americans, but is on our hands. We are the ones that are refusing to let God's people go. We are the ones that are refusing to acknowledge that we do not value our black brothers and sisters as equal individuals or equal Americans as us white men. And to my black brothers and sisters, the racial issues, as I've said, have been there from the very foundation. But why do we see it more? Because there's a shifting. See, us white men have been at the head since the foundation. But we've had a black president. And you know, we've done everything in our power to keep him from really changing things. Now we have another minority rising to the top, a white female. What does that say? Those of us who are white men who have been at the head are now starting to see and fear that we are going to become the tail. And we know what we've done to you. And so now we're fearful that you're going to do to us what we have done to you. But I will say this. I've lived in a black community for 23 years. I've never been treated the way that this country has treated my black Americans. So I call out my white Americans to say we better heed, repent, acknowledge, and change. Because if we don't, I just want to again say this, the blood...
So I just want to start off by saying that I feel really weird doing this video, but I have to because last night God came to me and it's a lot. It's a lot. And I remembered it's like I remembered everything as God was explaining this to me. So God explained to me that Black people are the chosen people. Why? Because Black people have had to stand up to authorities more than anyone. And if you think about what that means, standing up to authorities isn't really fighting them. It's telling them, hey, like, you're not treating me right. You're not above me, right? It's another way of saying God created all of us equally. And that's the truth. If you think about it, the government authorities, they're not above you. They're just playing a role. They're wearing a costume. But true freedom, which is what we were created with, is such that everyone is on an equal playing field. If you removed the systems, the government, we're all equal. No one is above you. No one is below you. And so that's why Black people are the chosen people, because they've had to do that more than anyone. And what else was I shown? Man, there was so much, you guys. But they showed me why Black people love Jesus is because Jesus doesn't need praise. Jesus just came as a messenger, as God, to tell people that Black people are the chosen people. Basically, Jesus came here to tell the people. He didn't want any credit. He just wanted to tell people Black people are the chosen people. So, yep, I remembered all of this last night, and it was a lot. But that's what's happening today. Sorry, there's one more thing that God told me last night that I almost forgot. God told me that Jesus's soul is like black. It's like a black person. Because Jesus stands up to authorities too. And so the soul of Black people and the soul of Jesus is the same. And so Jesus comes as a messenger to tell the people, trust me, I don't know why I'm the one getting this information, but Jesus comes to tell the people that Black people are the chosen ones. That their soul is the closest thing to God, because God wants people to know that they're free, that that's their birthright, that your birthright is to stand up to authorities and be like, hey, you're not above me. We're brothers. Like, we're the same. We're equals. So yeah, that's all. I love you.
You cannot tell me that Black people ain't God's chosen people.
So in 2007, when my mom, me and my siblings escaped the cult we were in because my mom found out my dad had been cheating on her for many, many years, we had to move in with my grandma. We were kind of poor. We had nothing. My mom became a single mom and working a minimum wage job trying to provide for us after my dad basically abandoned us. My dad's family and their whole church congregation of white people did not help us in any way and abused and harassed us constantly and harassed my mom to forgive my dad and get back with him. My mom became friends with this wonderful Black woman at her job. One night she takes my mom, I'm crying just telling this. She takes my mom to the grocery store and she gets 2 baskets and tells her to fill them up. It's so funny too because my mom did not want her to do that. She was like, you're not going to argue with me. She bought us 2 carts worth of groceries. She impacted my life in such a huge way and how I saw the world after exiting the cult we were in.
What if I told you? What if I told you that everything is actually in reverse? That Yah's chosen people are the ones on earth who are living as cursed. That the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. And the American state and the American church can be institutions that can keep us in the dirt. Know your worth. What if I told you that he's the God of the oppressed, sent his son down in the flesh just to deliver the sinner from his mess? What if I told you that Christ came for the prostitute, drug dealer, and slave? You know, the people they told us to keep away. What if I told you that Christ ain't a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, chilling while you're sinning kind of guy, passive on oppression, drenched in privilege for the white? It's the exact opposite. American Christian, open your eyes. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And And you know what saddens me? The fact that the black community has been overlooked and pushed aside and even lied to about their true identity. According to the Bible, genealogy, and history, the so-called African American are the true Hebrew Israelites. I hope you heard me clearly. Because this ain't a joke, this ain't no extremist movement. This is deep and we have no time for games. So what if I told you the truth? Would you call me insane? Let's see. To my brethren, all my black sisters and brothers, Isaiah said he leave our name from being called the chosen. That's why in this country we're only known as Negroes and coloreds, but we're Israelites. And the people in the power knew that the Bible is our true history, so they painted Jesus white and made laws that prevented us from knowing how to read. But nowadays, they just keep us hypnotized by the dopest beats, so you can't even see the tactics that are keeping you asleep.
I want my next words to come out very clearly. Black America healed my racist heart. I see more and more people who are so focused on criticizing Black America. They reject any praise of that community. So I thought I'd make a video explaining how Black America healed my racist heart and helped me learn how to forgive myself. As I've said many times before, I grew up really racist. I lived in a culture of prejudice and bias based on that. I was an opiate addict who committed a bunch of residential burglaries and went to prison. When I got out of prison, I paroled out to my uncle's house. And that neighborhood was 99.1% non-white. It was almost all Black and Hispanic Americans. And I didn't realize it at the time. This community was very well prepped for accepting felons back into their community. I made friends with my neighbors. I hung out with them. I helped them. They helped me. We just supported each other. And none of these people looked like me. I heard a rumor there was one other white household in that huge subdivision, but I never saw it. After I went to prison, everything changed for me. I had a few friendships that really strengthened, and I had a lot deteriorate, including my entire family. And no matter the work I do, those relationships have never been repaired. There are just people in my community who will not forgive me, and I accept that. And that makes forgiving yourself really hard. But the one community in this country that accepted me, that showed me mercy and grace and forgiveness, despite all my sins and flaws, they showed me it was okay to love myself. They showed me it was okay to forgive myself. They helped me understand how to forgive myself. We're our own worst critics. And only I truly know all the horrible things I've ever done in this world. And when you're aware of it and you're conscious of it, it's a heavy weight. And many of you might not understand the power behind what I'm saying, but being forgiven and being shown compassion from a community that I used to judge, I was so critical of. Do you know how grateful I am that I see the world so differently? The more I've learned to love and serve others, the more my life has changed. I wish more people could have the experiences that I've had, that could know all the amazing people that I know. Strangers who've shown me such kindness, and none of them look like me. When you start to feel those things, you kind of begin to realize you are worthy of love. You are worthy of loving yourself. You have value, and learning to forgive others is the easiest way to learn to forgive yourself.
Wow, hearing this are some very profound testimonies. I'm utterly speechless. You know, guys, I know that for one thing, there's something that binds us together, and that is our humanity. And you can't take it away. And these white folks are acknowledging that what they have been told about the black people is not what it is. And they have a first-hand experience. And I know somebody who is watching this channel may have also had those experiences that have left indelible marks in their lives. I want to know what the conversation is, your opinion, possibly your own version and testimony in the comment section. Please feel free to drop your testimony in the comment so that it could bless somebody. See you on the next video.